Okay, 4am Club, let's talk about that big ugly bill. And look who's here to talk about it with me. Now, I'm not going to echo much what's already been said by pundits, by Blue Lulus. It's terrible, it's shitty, they've been battling about it for a month or more. What I'm going to talk about is the big picture perspective, the spiritual perspective. Now, we're going big with this one, okay? It's something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, in that there is this idea, not even in spiritual communities, not even in religious communities, in the world, that something of a spiritual nature, a higher power, that higher power's job is to protect us from all the terrible things that could happen, to prevent all the terrible things that could ever happen. Now, that idea has led to untold amounts of suffering throughout human history, because that idea takes us on a path that is actually deeper into separation, away from divinity, and it creates a lot of misunderstandings about this earth life, about why we come to this planet and we go through experiences that are painful, terrible, awful, all the bad things. In spiritual communities, we call it duality or separation, that we are separate from each other and we are separate from the divine. Now, these ideas, they put us on a path of subjugating ourselves, surrendering ourselves to the divine in an unhealthy way, because it's created all these ideas that if we just do what's right, if we apply to the right deities, they will protect us, they will help us, they will prevent all the bad things from happening to us. Now, that's not true, and I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. The purpose of this earth life is not to come here and avoid pain and suffering. The purpose of this earth life is to come into the contrast for our learning, for our growth. And so the idea that going through contrast is inherently bad and there's no other way to look at it is very harmful. And it does not give us the appropriate tools we need to get through crises. And it doesn't allow us to have the full learning and expansion that these crises offer. Now, I could sit here and give you dozens of examples from my own life of when I went through absolutely horrible, terrible things, and I had no control, and the rug was ripped out from under me, and bad things happen. But it's not about me. It's not about my personal experience. Look to your own. Where have you gone through something that was the worst thing to ever happen to you? And eventually, in getting through, maybe it was years later, you can look back and you can see how you changed. You can see the person you became because of what you went through. Now, not everybody does get that benefit, but that is what free will is. You can avoid the suffering. You can rail at the universe, scream at lawmakers, fight with psychics who didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. You can have all the bad attitude about all the things. And I say that because I have as well. It is very human, very natural, very normal. But when we go down that path, we separate ourselves from any empowerment we might feel to fight back, to change the circumstance, and to get the growth. Because growth doesn't only come from suffering and letting things happen, just rolling over and taking it. Growth also comes from how we respond to the incident, how we as individuals or a community decide to respond to the things that are happening or attempting to happen. The only reason this bill wasn't an immediate green light to begin with is because of the collective pushback from constituents. So that's the point I'm trying to drive home here, that we need to expand beyond the duality of good, bad. This is terrible, woe is me. Now, I did a video about this a couple months ago. It's called Mastering the Art of Divine Neutrality. And if you're watching here on TikTok, it's number 43 in my emotional support playlist. If you're watching on YouTube, I will include a link to it in the caption. Mastering that divine neutrality allows us to get out of the panic spiral of, oh no, this has happened, nothing good will ever happen again, etc. And when we can do that, then we become not only able to ride out the storm to see what happens, how good can this get, what good could come of it because this has now happened, what can now unfold because the worst has finally happened, the other shoe is finally dropped. It gets us into all those open, forward-thinking, flexible, receiving mindsets. Not only that, but it galvanizes the fight. For those of us who see what's happening and we're not having it, and more importantly in today's climate, for those who were asleep, for those who were unable to see political happenings for what they really are. The bad things that happen serve more good when we can open up to that frame of mind. Get out of the duality. Accept it. This has happened. Now what? What do we do? What do we need to do? What can we allow to transpire because the worst has now happened? Now, in case this sounds like spiritual bypassing, it's not. This is something I have learned from almost 10 years of being a psychic medium and a healer and listening directly to spirit, bringing through the guidance from people's spirit guides, from their energy, from the bigger picture for almost a decade. And I can tell you unequivocally, this is what challenges are for. We are not meant to come down and try to find the magic path that's going to get us to avoid all of the pitfalls. We are here to experience them so that we can get into them and thus create transformation for ourselves and for the world. Because spirit isn't here to be the Disney fairy godmother, wave a wand and prevent all the bad things from happening and get us to the ball on time. Spirit is often directly the force that puts us in harm's way. Now, that's a bitter pill to swallow. If we have religious trauma and wounding, if we have been horribly victimized, I understand that. So that belief and that understanding, it's a journey to get there, and it's a journey to get there with peace and acceptance. So if you're not there yet, I understand that. It's okay. But if the only thing you take away from this video is we have to stop looking at bad things as bad things, your life will change if you can adopt that mindset. Everything that happens in this human life is inherently neutral. It, from a spiritual perspective, is neutral. It is what we do with it and what we make of it and the value we assign to it. Good, bad, terrible, meh. The value we assign to it, the power we give it over us, the mental spirals it takes us in, or the elevation it allows us to climb to, that is what these experiences are for. Now, I could rattle off dozens of ways that this could lead to something better because I've seen it and I've been tracking it for over a month. The explosion, the bomb that this has let off in Washington and how the public's responding and how lawmakers are fighting each other and scared. And now friggin' Elon is claiming I'm gonna take my money, I'm gonna take my ball and leave. I'm gonna create a new party. I'm gonna build a new playground. This is good stuff. Not to mention the potential that will come because now the nation is talking about Medicare and Medicaid. And oh no, what will happen? And oh wait, maybe our system is shitty. And oh wait, maybe universal health care is not such a bad thing. That's just my personal perspective. As you've heard me say, that's what I offer is perspective. It is up to you how you create your perspective and your narrative of what's going. So all I really want to offer you is work on that art of divine neutrality. See everything is neutral. Learn to find the gift, the benefit, the opportunity for transformation. And that is how we navigate these uncertain times.